Hi, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Thanks.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So since the last video I just created the footer as well. Nothing special here. So if you go to the views, layouts and app.blade.php, I just basically copy and paste the include down here and change the navbar to footer and created the footer.blade.php inside the layouts. As you can see, it's referring inside the layouts folder to the footer file. So layouts, and I created a new file called footer.blade.php, and this is our footer. That's all, nothing special with it. It's made with Bootstrap classes and some custom CSS. For example, the footer. If you go to the resources and sass and style.scss, as you can see, that's all for the footer. Nothing really special, just the background color and text color, and I took away the text decorations from unordered list and from the h tag. So that's it for the footer. And today we will add a PayPal payment for our website. So in order to do that, you need to go to PayPal developer. So if you type in Google developer.paypal.com, then you will find yourself on this page, and you need to log in with your PayPal credentials, so your original PayPal. Okay, and if you logged in, you should see something similar to this page. As you can see, we are on the dashboard, my app and credentials, and this is the place where you can switch between the live version and the Sandbox version. So it's very easy to switch to be live with PayPal payments. Okay, so let's just create a new app for this tutorial, and you can call this app whatever you want. I just called it Get Link Today application, and you need to select your business account. It's a Sandbox account. So by default I have two accounts. One of them is a personal, so this will be the buyer, and this is the business account, so we can check if the amounts arrives to our PayPal account. So let's select this one and create app. It's quite slow website anyway. Okay, and our Get Link Today app inside the PayPal is has been created. The Sandbox account is this, so we can log in into our PayPal Sandbox and we can check our account. And we will use this client ID. And at the moment we don't use any backend validation and stuff like that, so everything will be on the front end. So we don't need a secret key now. If you go to the docs and checkout, we will create these smart payment buttons on our website, so it's absolutely on the front end, nothing backend related. So this is the easiest and the fastest way to accept payments on your website. Obviously it has some drawbacks, but we will use this at this time. On the next page you can see the steps how to implement the PayPal payment to your website. But as we using Vue.js, we need to tweak it around a bit, but I'll show you how. So for example, we are not able to include this script tag into our application because Vue.js would throw us an error. So I show you how to do it, so we don't get any error inside our application. At the third step, we would create a PayPal button and we would render it to the ID of this div. So if you place a div on your website with this ID, the PayPal button will be rendered to that div. but I walk you through how to do this. Okay, so first of all, we need to include the SDK, PayPal SDK for this payment button. And to do that, I will copy and paste the code from the original project, so I can speed this up. Anyway, I included the GitHub link to the description, so you can see the code yourself. Right, so we need to go to the domain register component, and that's where we will include our JavaScript SDK JavaScript file. So we use Vue.js lifecycle mounted hook, and we will create a constant called script, and we create an element which is a script element, and that script source is the PayPal SDK link. And as you can see, you add the ID variable is just a text now, and it's referring to the Sandbox client ID, and we just created that Sandbox client ID a few seconds ago. So if you go back, as you can see, we just created this Sandbox application, and the client ID is this. So we need to copy and paste it here. Okay, so basically this function will attach this script to our body as a child element, child tag. Okay, so the next step, we need to render our smart payment buttons, and then we need to set up the transaction inside that PayPal payment button. And then we need to do something on approval. So here is, we create the button, here we create the transaction, the value, the currency, and description can be added here. And then if PayPal approves our payment, then we can do different things down here, and everything is controlled inside our payment button. Okay, so I just copy all these from the existing project. Right, so we have this mounted, and then inside the methods I will paste our code just like this. So this is the code I just pasted. That's all. So in this section we create the button, and we create the order, and we will render this button and the whole payment to this refs PayPal. So I already created a div with just bootstrap classes, and I enter the ref attributes with PayPal value. So this is how we render our button. So everything, this whole transaction, the button and the approval code will be rendered into this div. So as it is saved now, we should see our payment button on our page. Now if I refresh, and here it is. As you can see, we have the PayPal payment button now. Let's just go back to the code for a second, because as you can see, we are creating the order, and we have a description and amount where I set the currency to USD, and the value is this product.price. So most of the part, the price and description, coming from the database as props, and we can create a product object, and we can create the PayPal payment button from that object. So I can create a product here, Let's make it an object, and we need, okay, and the description. Okay, but you can enter whatever you want inside this description. It will be shown on the user's PayPal account. So if they pay, they can check back their history and they will see a description like payment for backlink app. And also, as you can see, we are pulling the price as well into this payment. And let's make it $9.99, and that's it. So the price will be here, $9.99 for this payment. So of course, if it's coming from the database, then it could be dynamically created when we load the website. So for example, different products can have different description and different price, and it could be pulled from the database. Okay, so we created our order now here, and if we click on the Pay Now button, then PayPal start taking this payment, and if everything goes okay and we get approved from PayPal, then we can do some extra stuff in this unapprove section. Basically what I do, I delete this, we don't need them. What I'm doing here, if the payment was successful, then I would like to submit the form. So first the user has to pay for example, for your product, or in this case for our service, and then we submit the form and we are saving their data into our database. And if we have any error, we can console log the error in this section. So we are doing this if everything is approved. We are calling this other function inside this method called submit domain, and that's where we submit our domains to the database. And if everything is saved correctly, then we reset the form and we will redirect the user to the home page. Okay, let's just try it out and see if everything works okay. Let's just check our database, hit refresh. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 entry at the moment. Let's just type in, let's hit refresh. Okay, let's select a category, for example, gaming. Let's use PC gaming. Enter a random email address. In my case, it's test22@test.com. Enter some URL in this URL field. Okay, you can select image if you want to, but make sure your image is not like 4 megabytes or more. Let's select this 58 kilobyte. Because I think by default the localhost is set to 1 megabyte upload maximum. Okay, so if you select any image, just make sure it's not a huge 2, 3 or 5 megabyte image. We can select this hv.jpg here. Okay, and domain title, first paid domain, short description, blah blah blah, long description, whatever the customer types in. And if we hit pay by PayPal, then of course we are getting this PayPal payment section, and we are in a sandbox mode, so we need to grab a sandbox login. So we need to go to the dashboard, and we need to go to the accounts at the sidebar, and you can see 2 types of Sandbox accounts. One of them is the personal, so basically this is the buyer, and one of them is the business email address. So if you click on View Edit Account, You can see the same email address again. Let's copy it. Click continue and paste. And we need a password as well. It's a system generated password. So let's copy this one as well. Paste and sign in. Okay, so you can see the amount, it's $9.99. That's what we set up here, $9.99. And you can scroll down and pay now. Okay, payment is successful and we should get redirected to the home page. Of course, there is some delay because the backend saving the image and saving the data to the database. But if we check our database now, we should see the 5th entry, first paid domain, the image, that's what we selected, the email address, and the paid is true. So everything is okay with this. And if you want to check the transaction, you can log in into the Sandbox account. It's quite tricky because if you just type in PayPal into the Google, usually I don't find the Sandbox account because this is take you back to the, even if it says Sandbox accounts, for some reason it takes me back to the developer account, but we want to check the Sandbox account, so I have to type in as you can see sandbox.paypal.com, and this will take you to the Sandbox PayPal account. This is our user account. So as you can see, I just paid now this $9.99. It was a test store payment. If you click on it, you will see the transaction details, and we should see somewhere the description as well, which I can't find at the moment. So that must be a typo. And of course there is a typo. Usual stuff from me. So if I wouldn't made this typo, we should see this payment for backlink up down here. You can't see at the moment because I made a typo. And of course we can log out because this was the buyer's account. So if you log out from this Sandbox account, you just need to wait a little bit, and now the login button appears again. And here we can log in as not a person, so not a buyer, but we can log in as a business owner. So if you go back to PayPal developer, you can see this business.example.com, view edit account, click on it, it's quite slow. So you can grab this email ID now, paste it here, and the password as well, log in. And as you can see, we have a completed payment from John Doe, and it was $9.99. It was made now. If you click on the payment from John Doe, you will see the details as well. Of course, you would see the description here if I haven't made that typo. And you can see it's coming from the paid by John Doe, and it's coming from this personal example account to this business example account. So this is how the Sandbox works. So we have a developer dashboard and developer website where we have these credentials, and we can set up our application. And we have, if we click on it, we get this client ID and stuff like that. And we have this sandbox.paypal.com account where we can log in and log out with our user and the buyer account as well. Of course, it's not a real money, it's just for testing purposes. And if you want to switch your account live, it's very easy. Just click on My Apps and Credentials. And basically you need to click on Live, and you just need to create a new application as we did, and that's all. Of course, if you click on it, you can see your original email address here and your client ID here. So basically you just need to copy and paste your live client ID here, and you are able to take payments on your website. Of course, it's not the most advanced stuff, but it's very fast and very easy to implement to your website. Okay, thanks for watching, and bye.